Hello, Dr. Sankar. My name is Mark Henshaw, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of the other two team members, Ryan Disher and Joe Epperson, for taking the opportunity, allowing us to speak to you about Wellborn cabinets and their ERP system, or Enterprise Resource Planning System. I will go first. You should have 3 links to YouTube videos. Additionally, you should have a PowerPoint presentation. So if you'll have that PowerPoint presentation in front of you as I begin, I think it'll be beneficial to you. First of all, the 3 of us decided to choose Wellborn Cabinet Inc. because it stood out. It seemed interesting. It seemed like something that we could relate to. I wanted to go over the Wellborn Cabinet background. If you'll look at slide 2, there's a brief outline. I'll go into a little more depth. Wellborn is a family-owned business. They make custom cabinets to order for residential and commercial. They are high-end cabinets. They started in 1961, and they have locations all over the U.S. They have factories where they make the cabinets. They also have a sawmill. They have lumber drying kennels. They have a delivery fleet. They even have a steam plant to provide power for the Ashland factory, which you'll see on slide 2 in the picture. Now, these custom cabinets are made in all of these various locations. They currently operate an ERP system called Cymex. It's a full ERP system. It has all the modules, and they are using them across all the departments. But the issue is Wellborn Cabinets has one database per plant, and they cannot share information between the plants. Meaning, if there's a custom cabinet made in one location and there's specifics there, it is not shared real time with the other location. This is a problem. The Wellborn wants to grow. They also want to improve their customer satisfaction, and they currently use a tribal knowledge method with vast experience of their cabinet makers. There's no way to capture that information in their current ERP system. So in 2001, Mr. Wellborn reached out and hired Gerald Wiley to address the problem with the ERP system. Originally, I think they wanted to customize or to improve the Cymex software, and one of the problems they ran into was that time constraints. There was never more than 3 days of downtime at Wellborn Cabinets, and to shut down the database, improve it, and make it available to all locations was going to take a large amount of time and eat into the business plan. Mr. Wellborn did not want daily business operations interrupted. So what they decided to do, based on time and scope, keeping the scope as narrow as possible, is to reach out for hardware and software. They brought in various vendors for each, and they started looking at a way to bring on board a new ERP system that was real-time between all locations and all departments, which would allow the business to improve not only in its manufacturing but in its customer service, marketing. All the aspects of business would benefit from this new ERP system. Now, if you'll go to slide 3, you'll see the scope statement. Basically, myself, Joe, and Ryan documented the scope statement, and a couple of things that Mr. Wellborn was very adamant about was that he wanted the new ERP system to improve the on-time shipping. He wanted it to improve profitability. He wanted to provide standard tools and techniques and templates for production to go above and beyond the tribal knowledge basis they were currently using, and again using it in the various departments: marketing, accounting, HR, finance. A secondary restriction or constraint was the budget for the project was $5.3 million. The expected benefits from this would be improved profitability and standardization of the company database at all locations for the real-time information. Now, 5.3 seems like a lot of money, 5.3 million, but there are larger companies that spent 15, 20 million setting up the ERP and spent hundreds of millions putting it on the internet. And at this time, some of those companies feel like they've saved up to $500 million a year in operating costs. So as we go down the scope statement, we really look at the project characteristics and requirements. One of the first things we did was we reached out to the employees for tools and templates, and we used their submissions. This encouraged the employees to be part of the new process and also to have ownership in it, which would help down the road. Again, we reached out to vendors for hardware and software. We looked, item 5 is looking at the database connectivity between locations. And item 6 was user access. We have to train all users, all employees of Wellborn while maintaining the daily operations at the status quo. Of course, security is a very important feature that must protect the business and its operations. And the ERP system needs to be operational 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with minimal downtime. Under the summary of deliverables, we did a survey to check all the legacy users. We documented instructions for using the ERP. We plan on developing a design and laying out the content. We have a test plan. We want to run the ERP system and test it, preferably parallel with the old system. And then we have a training plan. The training plan to train every employee when we go live. The project itself is a 29-month project from start to finish. That's very quick in project life cycles of this magnitude. And so our goal is to finish in 29 months under the budget of $5.3 million and to give Paul Wellborn, the CEO and sponsor of the project, his requirements, which is replace an aging legacy system while providing excellent customer service and minimizing downtimes. We plan on using the user inputs. We'll plan on using minimal impact time to the business. And if you'll go to slide 5 and 6, you'll see the project charter. Basically, this lays out what our plans are. We're going to upgrade the hardware and the software. We're going to determine the upgrades, what's best for the company with the hardware and software. We're going to develop a detailed cost estimate from the $5.3 million budget, and then we're going to issue a quote to obtain the hardware and software and use internal staff as much as possible in planning it. You'll see the roles and responsibilities are listed out, and you'll see that Mr. Wellborn signed off on it and is excited about it, and Mr. Wiley is going to be the daily manager for this process. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Ryan Disher. He is going to pick up and take over. Again, thank you for your time.